The galaxy was at peace, or at least that was what the Galactic Council wanted everyone to believe. In truth, cracks were everywhere. Old rivalries, power struggles, and secret deals moved beneath the surface like currents under a calm sea. But for a brief moment, it looked as if something better might come. For the first time in history, a human leader had been invited to speak at the Grand Summit of the Council. President Elena Ward of Earth was known across human space as a strong yet compassionate leader. She was not a soldier, though she respected them. She was not a scientist, though she listened to them. She was a leader who believed in unity, both for Earth and for the wider galaxy. Many humans believed she was the one who could bring their young species fully into galactic politics. Even aliens admired her bold speeches, though some whispered that she was too ambitious. The Grand Summit took place on Syndralis, the shining world at the heart of the Council. Its capital was a city of crystal towers and floating platforms, where diplomats and rulers from hundreds of species gathered. It was a place where peace was displayed like a jewel, even while secret power games happened in the shadows. On the morning of the summit, President Ward stood before a mirror in her quarters, adjusting the small silver pin on her jacket. The pin carried the Earth emblem, a simple globe crossed by an olive branch. "You look nervous," said her aide, a young officer named Sarah Iqbal. Ward smiled softly. "Not nervous, just aware. Every word I speak today could decide humanity's place in the galaxy for centuries." Sarah nodded. "Then speak as you always do. With honesty. That is what they fear most." Later, when Ward entered the Grand Hall, all eyes turned. The hall itself was a masterpiece of alien design, its ceiling filled with shifting lights that resembled galaxies spinning above. Representatives from 100 worlds sat in tears, their voices hushed as the human leader walked to the center platform. Counselor Threx, a tall reptilian being with golden scales, greeted her. "President Ward of Earth," he said, voice carrying across the chamber. "The Council welcomes you." Ward inclined her head. "The people of Earth thank the Council for this chance to be heard." She stepped forward and the hall grew silent. Her speech was about unity, fairness, and hope. She spoke of humanity's struggles, wars, famine, divisions, and how they had learned the hard way that survival required cooperation. She told them that Earth did not seek dominance but partnership. She asked the Council to treat humans as equals, not as children. Her words were powerful. Some alien delegates nodded, moved by her sincerity. Others whispered among themselves, calculating how this new human strength might threaten their own power. When she finished, the hall erupted in mixed reactions, applause from some, silence from others. Counselor Threx raised a hand. "The Council thanks you, President Ward. We will consider your request." Ward smiled politely, but inside she knew. The Council would delay, stall, and bury the idea. Still, her words had been spoken, and sometimes words were sharper than blades. But that night, as the summit continued with private discussions, something terrible happened. President Ward attended a reception in one of the floating gardens above the city. Music drifted through the air. Alien flowers glowed softly and small drones carried trays of drinks. Ward spoke with a few sympathetic delegates, laughing gently as she shared stories of Earth's oceans and forests. Her head of security, Commander Marcus Hale, stayed close. Hale was a broad-shouldered man with sharp eyes, a former fleet officer who trusted nothing about the Council. His instincts told him danger was near, but he could not see it. Then, in a moment no one expected, a flash of light cut through the night. The sound was sharp, like a crack of thunder. President Ward gasped, her eyes wide as a beam of energy struck her chest. She stumbled, hands clutching the silver pin on her jacket. "Madam President," Marcus shouted, catching her before she fell. Chaos exploded in the garden. Aliens screamed, guards shouted, and drones scattered. Ward's eyes locked on Marcus, pain and shock mixing in her gaze. "Find the truth," she whispered. Then her body went still. The music stopped. The glowing flowers flickered. And in the silence that followed, the galaxy changed forever. The Council tried to control the scene quickly. Security forces swarmed the garden, sealing off exits. Drones hovered overhead, broadcasting official messages. "Remain calm," an artificial voice commanded. "The Council is handling this matter." But Marcus was not calm. He held Ward's body, his jaw clenched in silent rage. Her blood stained his uniform and his heart pounded with a single thought. This was no accident. This was murder. Later in the council chambers, an announcement was made. President Ward of Earth has been struck down by a lone extremist, Councillor Threx declared. His golden eyes glimmered under the chamber lights. The suspect acted alone and has been dealt with. The council extends its condolences to Earth. Marcus sat in the gallery, fists clenched. He had seen the so-called suspect. A body dragged out, face hidden, killed too quickly to be questioned. Too convenient. Too clean. When he demanded to see evidence, the council guards blocked him. The matter is closed, they said, but Marcus knew better. He had fought enough battles to recognize when a story was manufactured. Someone powerful had wanted Ward silenced, and the council was covering it up. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. Billions wept openly. Entire cities held vigils, candles glowing in the night sky. Ward had been more than a politician. She had been a symbol of hope, proof that humanity could rise above its darker past. At her funeral, broadcast to every colony and station, her casket was draped in Earth's flag. Soldiers stood at attention, citizens bowed their heads, and leaders from across human space swore to honor her memory. But grief was only the beginning. Soon, anger burned hotter. People asked the same question again and again: who killed her? Why? And why was the council refusing to investigate? Commander Marcus Hale stood before Earth's leaders in a closed meeting. His voice was low but firm. President Ward was not killed by a lone extremist. She was assassinated. I found fragments of data in the council's system, data they tried to erase, communications between high-ranking council members planning her death. The room fell silent. Admiral Sophia Reyes, sharp and steady, leaned forward. Are you certain? Marcus nodded, certain enough to risk everything. They feared her vision. They feared what humanity might become under her leadership. General Ibrahim Khan slammed a fist on the table. Then we cannot let this stand. If the council thinks humanity will bow and grieve quietly, they are mistaken. But Reyes raised a hand. Careful. If we strike too soon, they will paint us as aggressors. We need proof, undeniable proof, and we need to prepare. Marcus met her gaze. Then we prepare. But mark my words, this was not just an attack on one woman. It was an attack on all of humanity. In the weeks that followed, quiet investigations began. Human intelligence agents searched for hidden records while diplomats demanded answers from the council. But the council gave none. Files disappeared. Witnesses vanished. And always the official line remained. A lone extremist, yet whispers spread. Among other species, rumors began that the council was not as innocent as it claimed. Some alien leaders, oppressed and sidelined for years, began to watch humanity with new eyes. And on Earth, a new mood took hold. Grief hardened into unity. Citizens who once argued about politics, regions, or wealth now stood together. Factories worked day and night producing ships and supplies. The fleets gathered, not yet for war, but for justice. Marcus often stood at the window of the orbital command station, staring at the stars. Each night he remembered Ward's final words. Find the truth, and deep in his heart he made a vow. The council thinks they ended her dream, he whispered. But they only lit the fire. Humanity will not forget, and we will not forgive. The galaxy had struck down Earth's leader in secret, but soon humanity would answer in the open. The funeral of President Elena Ward was the largest gathering humanity had ever seen. Across Earth's continents and the colonies in space, people stood together in silence as her body was laid to rest. Cities dimmed their lights. Orbital stations held moments of silence, and entire fleets stopped engines to honor her. In New Geneva, where the service was held, 1 billion viewers watched live. The coffin, covered with the flag of Earth, rested on a platform beneath the open sky. Soldiers in crisp uniforms stood like statues. Children placed flowers. People of every nation wept openly. Admiral Sophia Reyes stood at the front with the other leaders of Earth. Her jaw was tight, her eyes focused on the horizon. Beside her stood General Ibrahim Khan, tall and unshakable, his hands clasped behind his back. Commander Marcus Hale was there too, still carrying the weight of Ward's final words. When the ceremony ended, Marcus stepped aside, looking up at the stars. He whispered to himself, she believed in peace, but peace was taken from her. We must carry what she left behind. In the weeks after, Earth mourned. News programs replayed Ward's speeches. Streets were filled with murals painted by ordinary citizens. Colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan lit great fires in her memory. But grief slowly changed into something else. People began to talk not just of loss but of betrayal. Questions rose again and again. Why had the council declared the investigation closed so quickly? Why had the alleged assassin been killed before questioning? Why were security records from that night erased? Everywhere whispers grew louder. The council is hiding the truth. On the military channels, anger spread like a flame. Soldiers who had once been cautious about Earth's place in the galaxy now demanded justice. Fleet crews drilled harder. Shipyards worked faster. The largest mobilization in human history began, not openly declared but visible in every hangar and port. Inside a secure room in Earth's Defense Command, the top human leaders gathered. The walls were lined with glowing screens, maps of the galaxy, and streams of intercepted data. Admiral Reyes stood at the center, pointing to a star chart. Our fleets are not yet ready for direct conflict, but they are growing. The question is not if we move, but when, General Khan grunted. We don't need to wait. The people are ready. The soldiers are ready. The galaxy killed our leader. Do we sit and beg for answers like children? No, we strike back, Marcus leaned forward. His voice was steady, but his eyes burned. We strike blindly and we become what they want us to be, reckless aggressors. That's their plan. I've seen transmissions. They are preparing to frame humanity as unstable. If we fall into that trap, every species will unite against us. Reyes nodded. He's right. But doing nothing is also a mistake. We need proof, undeniable proof. Then we strike, not with chaos, but with purpose. The room fell into silence. Finally, Reyes continued. Our intelligence teams are searching. Fragments of encrypted messages point to a group inside the council, what they call the Triarchs. They feared Ward's influence. They wanted her silenced, Khan growled. Then we hunt the Triarchs. Yes, Marcus said, his fists tightening. But first we must unite our own people. Humanity must stand as one voice, or we will fall apart before the fight even begins. On Earth, unity began to grow. The media, once divided by politics, now spoke with the same words. Justice for Ward. Truth for humanity. Ordinary workers donated extra hours to build ships. Farmers provided free supplies for the military. Even rival corporations signed agreements to share resources. One night in the city of Mumbai, millions marched in the streets holding torches that lit up the sky. They chanted a single word, justice. The chant spread across Earth and the colonies, echoing on every world where humans lived. It was clear. Humanity was no longer grieving alone. They were preparing, but not everyone supported this path. A few alien diplomats on Earth begged the leaders to reconsider. You must not confront the council, said Ambassador Yelran, a tall insectoid with shimmering wings. They are powerful beyond measure. If you resist, they will crush you. General Khan leaned forward across the table. We have been crushed before. By famine, by war, by disasters of our own making, and yet we survived. Do not mistake us for something fragile. Reyes, calmer but firm, added, if the council wishes to stand as a beacon of peace, then they must prove it. If not, then humanity will create its own light. Ambassador Yelran trembled. Then you are walking toward fire. Marcus looked at him, eyes hard. Sometimes fire is the only way to clear the shadows. Meanwhile, intelligence agents worked day and night. Hidden inside the data streams of the council, they found scraps, messages half erased, orders hidden under layers of encryption. Slowly, a picture began to form. One night, Marcus was in the command center when a young analyst rushed in. Sir, we have something. On the screen appeared a fragment of text intercepted before deletion. The words were brief but deadly clear. Ward's voice grows stronger. If she continues, others will follow. End this before the summit concludes. The council cannot risk her influence. Signed, Triarch Authority. The room went silent. Marcus stared at the words, his chest tight. Proof, real proof. Not complete, not enough to bring down the council yet, but enough to confirm what he had always known. He turned to Reyes and Khan. Now we know. They killed her because she threatened their power, and they will kill again if we do nothing. Reyes's eyes hardened. Then we prepare the fleet. Soon after, humanity began open mobilization. Shipyards on Luna glowed all night, massive battleships sliding out into orbit. On Mars, factories worked without pause, producing armor and weapons. On Titan, engineers tested experimental engines that could move ships faster than ever. Every colony contributed, Some with soldiers, others with resources, all with determination. But this was not just about war. Alongside weapons, humanity prepared information. Broadcast teams readied channels to reach the entire galaxy. Scientists developed methods to protect data from being erased. The coming battle would not only be in space but also in truth. Marcus walked the hangars often, speaking with young soldiers. He found them eager but also afraid. To them, the galaxy was a giant unknown. One soldier asked, "Commander, do you think we can win? They're bigger, stronger, older." Marcus paused, looking at the rows of ships. Then he said, "They are older, yes. But sometimes the oldest trees fall because they cannot bend. Humanity bends, we adapt. That is our strength. Never forget that." The soldier straightened, eyes shining. Back on Earth, a great council of human leaders met again. Rhea stood at the center, her voice calm but powerful. "The time of mourning has passed. The time of silence is over. From this moment, humanity does not beg for justice, we demand it. Our fleets gather. Our people unite. If the council refuses truth, then we will bring truth to them." The leaders rose to their feet one by one, until the entire hall thundered with agreement. General Khan slammed his fist down. For Ward, for Earth, for humanity. The words echoed through the chamber, carried into every transmission, spreading across the stars far away on alien worlds. The news reached ears that had long been silent. Species that had suffered under the Council's quiet corruption listened with new interest. If humans dared to challenge the mighty Council, perhaps there was hope for others too. Whispers grew in the dark corners of the galaxy. The humans are coming, not as beggars, not as servants, but as fire. In the quiet of night, Marcus stood alone on the balcony of the orbital command station. Below, Earth glowed blue and beautiful. Above, the stars stretched endlessly. He remembered Ward's last words. "Find the truth." He whispered into the night. "We are coming, Madam President. The galaxy will know the truth, and when they do, they will know humanity." The vow echoed in his heart. The fleets would sail soon. The Council thought they had silenced Earth's voice. But they had awakened something far greater, humanity united. The stars stretched endlessly before Earth's fleets, glittering like scattered diamonds across black velvet. For decades, humanity had been underestimated in the galaxy, young, small, and thought-fragile. But now, the galaxy would see how much humans had grown. Commander Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Aurora, the flagship of Earth's defense fleet. Beside him, Admiral Sophia Reyes studied a holographic map of alien systems. Hundreds of ships orbited Earth, Mars, and Luna, all ready to follow human orders. The fleet was immense, larger than any humans had ever built, yet it moved with precision and discipline. "Status report," Marcus said, voice steady. "Fleets are aligned," Reyes replied. "All systems operational. Jump drives tested. Supply lines secure. We are ready to enter Council-controlled space," Marcus nodded. "Good. Then let's remind the galaxy why humanity should never be underestimated." The first jump took them through a shimmering wormhole, faster than light, bending around reality itself. On the other side lay the Prillian sector, a region dominated by alien trade stations and military outposts loyal to the Council. Humans had carefully studied this space. They knew the defenses, the patrol schedules, and the weak points. They would not strike blindly. They would strike with intelligence, precision, and restraint. "Report," Marcus demanded. "We've been detected," said Lieutenant Aaron Kess, young and sharp-eyed. "Council sensors are aware of our presence, but they are assuming it's a training exercise." Marcus's lips curled in a small smile. "Let them assume. False confidence is the enemy's first weakness." Admiral Reyes turned to the fleet's communication officers. "Prepare our messages. We are not here to destroy. We are here to expose. When we arrive at the Council sectors, we will broadcast proof of Ward's assassination and the Triarch's orders. Let the galaxy hear the truth." The words carried weight. Every ship in the fleet adjusted its systems, ready not only for defense, but for broadcasting history-altering information across alien worlds. Meanwhile, on distant stations loyal to the Council, alarms blared. The human fleets had entered restricted space. Alien generals and diplomats rushed to sensors and screens. "Impossible," one officer said, "an eel-like creature with glimmering scales. Humans could not have coordinated this many ships. They lack the experience." Another, a small insectoid diplomat, added nervously, They are reckless. They will fail. But the Council underestimated humans once again. They had learned from centuries of survival. Their fleets were not the largest, but they were swift, adaptable, and disciplined. Every ship communicated silently, anticipating threats, protecting allies, and ready to defend without aggression. Marcus watched the screens. We do not strike unless provoked. Our power is in restraint, and our strength is in coordination. Remember that. Humanity's reputation is on the line. As the fleet moved, Marcus and Admiral Reyes also reached out to oppressed alien races. Species that had suffered under Council rule were eager for change but cautious. On a secret communications channel, a Lyran envoy spoke. Lyrans were a proud species, small but fiercely intelligent. Their homeworld had been subjugated by the Triarch-controlled sectors for centuries. "We have watched you, humans," the envoy said. "We thought you were weak. Now we see your courage. If you move against the Council, we will stand with you." Reyes smiled. "We move not to conquer, but to liberate and reveal. Together we can show the galaxy a new way forward." The Lyran envoy's eyes gleamed. "Then our technology and ships are yours." Marcus felt a surge of hope. Humanity would not face the galaxy alone. Allies would come, inspired by courage and truth. Despite their preparation, the Council was not idle. They scrambled fleets to intercept, sending patrols and monitoring stations to track human movements. The galaxy was watching, waiting to see if humans would overreach. When the first patrol approached, Marcus made a decision. "Hold positions. Do not fire." The alien patrol, confident and brash, scanned the human fleet. Sensors picked up an unusual pattern of ships, synchronized and disciplined. The humans did not attack. They only waited. After tense minutes, the alien patrol withdrew. Their report was confused. Humans did not engage. They have thousands of ships. They are coordinated. They are... Strange. Marcus let out a breath. Strange is good. In the following days, the fleet moved steadily through Council space. Every system they passed was monitored, every signal carefully recorded. Human intelligence officers intercepted transmissions from Council elites, messages filled with panic and confusion. One such message was particularly revealing. A high-ranking Triarch official spoke to subordinates. "The humans are faster than anticipated. Their fleets are disciplined. If we strike prematurely, we risk exposure. Focus on misinformation. Make them appear aggressive. We cannot let Ward's death be traced back to us." Marcus read the message aloud in the command room. "They fear us." "That is progress," Reyes nodded. "We will not fall for traps. We will expose them for what they are." Even within the human fleet, morale was high. Soldiers who had trained their whole lives for protection of Earth were now pioneers in a galaxy that had dismissed them. Engineers worked tirelessly to ensure ships could handle extended operations. Pilots ran drills anticipating every possible scenario. Humanity was proving that youth was not weakness. It was flexibility, ingenuity, and determination. One evening, Marcus walked through the fleet, speaking to crews personally. In one hangar, a young pilot approached him nervously. "Commander, I have never faced aliens in real conflict. I'm scared." Marcus studied him. "Good, fear is natural. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite it. Remember your training. Trust your team. And above all, trust humanity." The pilot nodded, eyes wide but determined. "I will do my best." Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is all we ask." Meanwhile, the fleet reached the outer systems of the Council-controlled sector. Marcus convened a meeting with Admiral Reyes, General Khan, and intelligence officers. "The next step is critical," he said. "We cannot allow the Council to control the narrative. We broadcast the evidence of Ward's assassination. At the same time, we demonstrate our capability, not to destroy but to protect ourselves and our allies. Precision is key." Reyes projected a holographic map of the Council sectors. "We will move in phases. Phase 1, capture communication arrays to broadcast evidence. Phase 2, secure neutral stations and protect civilians. Phase 3, prepare for any counterattack." Khan's fist pounded the table. "Let the Council understand this. Earth will not be silent. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not fear." Marcus watched them all. Humanity was ready. Not reckless, not vengeful, but disciplined, united and determined. The first broadcast went out as the human fleet approached a key Council hub. The signals pierced through Council channels, reaching every corner of the galaxy. Screens flickered in alien homes, on ships, And in stations, evidence of the Triarch's secret plans, their communications ordering Ward's assassination, and their attempts to frame humans as aggressors. Reyes watched the reactions. "Look at that," she said. "The galaxy is listening." They cannot deny it. Across alien worlds, whispers became chatter. Doubt spread. Some species who had long lived under the Council's rule began to consider alliances with humans. Even those loyal to the Council questioned what they had been told. Humanity had arrived not with destruction, but with undeniable truth. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Aurora looking at the stars. Each point of light was a potential ally or a potential enemy. But humanity had changed the equation. They were no longer children of the galaxy, waiting for guidance. They were participants equal to the oldest and most powerful species. "Prepare for next jump," Marcus ordered. "We move closer to the Council's heart. Every step is calculated. Every move shows strength, not recklessness," Reyes added. "And every move shows unity. Humanity does not act alone. We act as one." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Ward would be proud. As the fleet leapt through the next jump point, alien scouts watching from a distance transmitted back frantic messages. "They are different," one said. "We cannot predict them. They do not act like other species. They cooperate in ways we cannot anticipate." The Council's Triarchs, for the first time in centuries, felt genuine fear. Not fear of humans' weapons, but fear of their unity, their courage, and their unexpected discipline. Marcus and his fleet did not celebrate. They continued forward, disciplined, ready, and unyielding. Humanity was young, yes, but in that youth lay energy, resilience, and determination. They would continue until justice was achieved. The galaxy had underestimated them. That mistake would cost the Council more than they could imagine. The void of space stretched endlessly before the human armada. Hundreds of ships glimmered like a swarm of silver fireflies moving in perfect formation. Humanity had crossed the threshold of fear into action. For decades, the galaxy had dismissed them as young, weak, and inexperienced. Now they were neither. Commander Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Aurora, staring at the screens. Beyond the outer defenses of the Triarch-controlled sectors, entire fleets waited. Some wary, some confident, most underestimating the humans' capabilities. "Status?" Marcus asked, voice calm but intense. Admiral Sophia Reyes responded. "Sensors show several patrols, but they are keeping distance. Civilians on nearby stations are still operational. We can move without immediate conflict, but we must act carefully. The Council is expecting a reaction, not strategy." Marcus nodded. "Exactly. We show strength, but not recklessness. Precision is our weapon." Humanity's approach shocked the galaxy. In every sector they entered, patrols watched from afar, curious and confused. The humans did not strike indiscriminately. They coordinated, repaired damaged stations, and safeguarded civilian traffic. Their discipline was unlike anything the Council's veteran forces had seen. "Reports are coming in," said Lieutenant Aaron Kess. "Civilians are noticing our efficiency. They are questioning the Council's narrative. Some stations are openly contacting us, offering support." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them see truth and organization. That is how we win without a single unnecessary strike." Even among the Council-aligned species, whispers of doubt spread. "Humans are different. They do not act like others. They do not attack recklessly." That difference became a weapon in itself. The first engagement came when a Council patrol attempted to block human ships from accessing a critical communications array. "Open comms," Marcus ordered. "We are here to broadcast evidence, not to fight. Stand down, or your actions will be recorded for the galaxy to see." The alien commander hesitated, scales shimmering nervously. Sensors picked up the human fleet's formation, tight, synchronized, capable of overwhelming force if provoked. "We cannot retreat," the alien replied, voice strained. "Orders." Before the alien could finish, Marcus gave a single command. "Position the decoys. Deploy electromagnetic shields." Suddenly, dozens of holographic ships appeared across the sector, moving with perfect coordination. The patrol's sensors went haywire, unsure which ships were real. The human fleet moved silently, undetected, bypassing the patrol and reaching the communications hub. "Broadcast the files," Marcus commanded. Evidence of the Triarch's secret orders, their communications planning Ward's assassination, and their attempts to frame humans were sent across the galaxy. Every station, every ship, and every system could see the truth. Alien leaders scrambled, unsure how to respond. The humans had proven they were not only capable fighters but also skilled in strategy and information warfare. Meanwhile, on liberated stations, oppressed species began contacting the human fleet. A small Lyran colony offered ships and engineers. A displaced mollusk-like race provided vital intelligence about Council patrol routes. Even minor species, long ignored by the Council, pledged support. Admiral Reyes smiled as she monitored these transmissions. They are seeing hope. Humanity inspires them without firing a single shot. Marcus nodded. Hope is the weapon the Council underestimated. The fleet pressed onward, capturing neutral stations to serve as supply points and broadcast hubs. Every move reinforced humanity's reputation as precise, disciplined, and morally grounded. News from the outer sectors reached the galaxy. Humans protect civilians. Humans fight for justice. Humans expose corruption. The message spread like wildfire. Even species loyal to the Council began to question their leaders. Some quietly withdrew support. Others sent messages of concern. Humanity was not only advancing in space, it was advancing in hearts and minds. Not everyone was passive. The Council's triarchs grew desperate. They ordered patrol fleets to intercept, warning that the humans were becoming uncontrollable. A fleet of massive warships jumped into the same sector as the human armada. The Council hoped to intimidate, expecting humans to scatter. Marcus surveyed the approaching ships. Formation Delta, shields up. Hold positions. We show readiness, not aggression. Let them make the first mistake. Reyes projected the holographic map. They are outnumbered in mass, but poorly coordinated. Their commanders assume fear. That is their weakness. The Council fleet approached cautiously, but Marcus's patience paid off. Human ships moved with silent efficiency, closing gaps, positioning shields to protect Allied and civilian stations, and broadcasting their movements openly. The Council commanders realized too late. They could not predict humans. Discipline and strategy created the advantage, not sheer numbers. Faced with exposure and confusion, several Council ships withdrew quietly, embarrassed. Others sent signals of surrender, requesting safe terms. The human fleet did not destroy them. It merely demonstrated superiority, leaving their dignity intact. Marcus allowed himself a brief smile. They learned slowly. On the ground, General Ibrahim Khan led the liberation of key colonies. Human soldiers moved with careful precision, securing stations and freeing enslaved or oppressed species. Earth's forces respected life, taking prisoners and offering protection, not vengeance. One freed Lyran engineer approached Khan. We doubted your species. We thought you were young, weak. But your discipline, your courage, it inspires us, Khan nodded. Humanity learns from its past. We do not seek revenge, only justice. And we will teach the galaxy that courage and honor matter. The liberated colonies rallied behind humanity. Signals sent to their systems broadcast stories of humans who arrived not with destruction, but with protection. Confidence in the Council began to falter. The turning point came when the human fleet reached the Council's main communications hub. Marcus, Reyes, and intelligence teams prepared the final broadcast. All records we have collected, Marcus said, must go public. The Triarch's orders, the assassination plan, the falsified reports, all of it. The galaxy must see the truth without obstruction. Admiral Reyes nodded. This will fracture the Council's control. All species will see that humanity acted not with aggression, but with justice. The transmission began. Across the galaxy, screens flickered to life, showing the documents, the orders, and the incriminating communications of the Triarchs. Alien species gasped. Some panicked. Many began to withdraw support. The Council's grip faltered. For the first time in centuries, they faced open scrutiny. Humanity's arrival in force had not only protected its own people, but had exposed corruption, inspiring a galaxy-wide awakening. Marcus watched the transmission, voice low but firm. Ward's vision is alive, not in one leader, but in all of us. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not be silenced, Reyes added, and our allies are growing. Those who once hid in fear are now willing to stand beside us. The galaxy is changing. Khan grunted, satisfaction evident. They underestimated humans. That is the mistake they will never forgive. Even within the Council, fear and confusion spread. The Triarchs realized that humanity's approach combined diplomacy, precision, protection, and revelation. The young species had turned every disadvantage into an advantage. In a secure chamber, one Triarch muttered, voice trembling, "They are not like the others. They do not act like us, they think differently." That was humanity's greatest weapon. The galaxy could not predict them, could not manipulate them, and could not ignore them. The human fleet remained disciplined, never attacking without cause. Instead, they liberated stations, secured trade routes, and exposed corruption. Every move built confidence in allies rather than fear. Humanity's reputation spread. They were not conquerors, but protectors. Marcus looked out at the stars. The galaxy had struck down Ward, believing humans would kneel. Instead, humanity had arrived, not as victims, not as vengeful warriors, but as a disciplined, united, and unstoppable force. Reyes placed a hand on his shoulder. "The next step will be harder. The Council will respond in force, but we have momentum. And now the galaxy believes in humanity." Marcus nodded, jaw tight. "They will remember today. Humanity does not just fight for survival. We fight for justice, for truth, and for every life that cannot speak for itself." And so the human armada moved forward, not recklessly, but decisively. Every star they crossed, every system they liberated, and every broadcast they sent shattered the Council's control further. Humanity had arrived in force, and the galaxy would never forget it. The legend was beginning. Humans, small and underestimated, had proven their strength through unity, courage, and strategy. The galaxy had witnessed their discipline, their honor, and their resolve. And the Council, once confident and untouchable, now trembled before a species it had once ignored. Humanity's retribution had begun. But more importantly, it was not just retribution, it was a statement. Humans would no longer be silenced, underestimated, or dismissed. The stars themselves seemed to watch as the human fleet surged onward, precise, disciplined, and unstoppable. The galaxy had been warned. Humanity had arrived in force. The galaxy had changed. Humanity's fleets had carved a path through Council-controlled space, not with reckless aggression, but with precision, strategy, and honor. Stations were liberated, civilians protected, and the Council's lies exposed. The Triarchs, once untouchable, now faced the consequences of centuries of corruption and fear. Commander Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Aurora, overlooking the largest Council-controlled system yet to be liberated. Thousands of ships from multiple species followed his command. Humans were no longer a young, underestimated species. They were the standard others measured themselves against. "Status report," Marcus ordered. Admiral Sophia Reyes spoke first. "All fleets are aligned. The Council forces are attempting to regroup, but morale is low. Many are surrendering without conflict. Communication networks are fully operational for broadcasting truth." Marcus allowed himself a small nod. "Good. Let's finish this before they have a chance to reorganize." Across the galaxy, the broadcasts of the Triarch's secrets had shaken countless systems. Entire species reconsidered their loyalty to the Council. Colonies that had silently suffered under corruption now openly supported humanity. Even previously neutral worlds began sending messages of aid and cooperation. The galaxy was changing, not through war, but through truth and courage. In the Council chambers, panic erupted. The Triarchs could no longer manipulate perception. Their records, strategies, and lies were visible to every species. For the first time, leaders who had ruled through fear felt exposed, vulnerable, and powerless. One of them, a golden-scaled reptilian official, hissed at a subordinate. "We underestimated them. Humanity is not like any species we have faced. Their discipline, their unity, it is unmatched." The subordinate could only nod, trembling. Meanwhile, on the liberated planets, humans worked alongside alien allies. Engineers repaired damaged stations, soldiers provided security, and diplomats negotiated peace. Humanity's approach was methodical, fair, and transparent. No species was forced to join. No culture was disrespected. General Ibrahim Khan observed the operations from a Mars command station. Beside him stood a freed Lyran officer, who had once doubted humans. "You have changed the galaxy," the Lyran said, voice filled with awe. "I thought your species would destroy, but you protect. I did not expect this." Khan smiled, the weight of battles and victories evident in his eyes. "Protection, truth, and justice, that is our strength. Other species fight for power. We fight to ensure power cannot abuse. That is the difference. Across the stations, that difference became clear. Humans were not conquerors. They were a force of accountability, integrity, and inspiration. The final phase of humanity's campaign began with the main council stronghold. Triarch forces had retreated there, hoping to negotiate, intimidate, or hide. Marcus, Reyes, and Khan gathered with their allied representatives to plan the approach. "This is not about annihilation," Marcus said firmly. "We are here to demand justice. We will give them the chance to respond. If they refuse, the galaxy will witness the consequences, but we do not strike without cause." Reyes displayed a holographic map. "We approach in 3 waves. One fleet will block escape routes, another secures communication arrays for full transparency, a third will safeguard civilians in nearby sectors. Precision, coordination, restraint." Khan clenched his fist. "The galaxy will see humanity as unlike any species before." Marcus looked at his officers, eyes burning. "Then let us ensure history remembers this day, not for war, but for justice." As the human fleets approached the council stronghold, transmissions were sent demanding a public trial of the Triarchs. For the first time in history, the council's corruption was challenged openly. Alien species across systems listened, watched, and waited. The Triarchs, cornered and exposed, attempted desperate measures, minor attacks, misinformation, and attempts to broadcast false narratives. But humanity's intelligence network intercepted and nullified every effort. Every lie crumbled in the face of coordinated truth. Marcus watched from the bridge as surrender signals began to pour in. Many Triarch officers requested safe passage to testify. Others refused, disappearing into exile. The galaxy now held the power to witness justice unfold, and humanity ensured it would be fair and visible. Inside the council stronghold, a trial commenced. Humans, along with representatives from liberated species, presided over the proceedings. Evidence of Ward's assassination, the Triarch's orders, and years of corruption was presented. Witnesses, both alien and human, testified. The truth was undeniable. Marcus stood at the edge of the chamber, observing quietly. He did not need to speak. Humanity's presence alone commanded respect. When the verdict was announced, the Triarchs were stripped of power. Their assets were frozen and many faced exile. The galaxy, for the first time, had witnessed a fair and transparent judgment, guided by a species previously dismissed as inexperienced. The galaxy's faith in humanity grew. Humans had not acted with vengeance, they acted with justice, fairness, and accountability. That was their true strength. News of the trial spread quickly. Across colonies, space stations, and planets, citizens celebrated. Humans had shown that even a young species could change the balance of power, not through brute force, but through courage, intelligence, and moral integrity. Admiral Reyes addressed the fleet. "Humanity has proven its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as protectors, not as bullies, but as leaders of fairness and truth. This is the beginning of a new era," Marcus added, voice steady and confident. Ward believed in a galaxy where humanity could lead by example. Today we honor her vision. Let every species know humans will not be silenced. Humans will not be ignored. Humans will stand for justice no matter the cost. Across the galaxy, the words resonated. Even species that had feared humans now looked upon them with respect. Humanity's reputation transformed from a young, underestimated species to a force of honor, unity, and hope. The next step was the formation of the Transparent Alliance, a coalition of species committed to fairness, truth, and mutual protection. Humans offered membership not through coercion, but through choice. Every species could join or decline, but humanity ensured transparency and fairness in every process. Marcus oversaw the negotiations personally. No hidden agendas, no secret orders. Every member has equal voice. This is what Ward envisioned, an alliance built on honesty and cooperation, not fear or power. The first signatories were humans, Lyrans, and other liberated species. Soon dozens more joined, creating a network of trust across the galaxy. The Transparent Alliance became a symbol of what humanity could achieve: unity without domination, strength without tyranny. Even those who had doubted humans before now acknowledged their capabilities. Alien leaders sent messages of admiration and respect. Former council officers admitted privately that they had underestimated humanity. The galaxy was learning an important lesson. Courage, intelligence, and integrity were more powerful than intimidation or deceit. Marcus reflected on the journey. From the night of Ward's assassination, when darkness and grief threatened to crush humanity, to this day where truth and justice reigned, humans had proven their unique value. They had turned tragedy into opportunity, weakness into strength, and grief into unity. Reyes stood beside him. The galaxy sees us now, not just for our ships or weapons, but for who we are. Ward's vision lives in every one of us, Marcus nodded, and it will continue to grow. Humanity does not stop here. We protect, we inspire, and we lead. That is our legacy. In the days that followed, the Transparent Alliance expanded. Freed colonies thrived. Communication networks spread truth across systems. Human fleets patrolled strategically, ensuring peace without oppression. Humanity became known as a species that combined strength with justice, courage with compassion, and determination with honor. Stories of human discipline, strategy, and fairness spread across alien civilizations. Young species looked to Earth as an example. Older species respected them. Humans had arrived, not merely as survivors but as pioneers of a new era. The galaxy remembered one thing clearly. Humanity's arrival had been decisive, honorable, and unstoppable. They had responded to tragedy with action, injustice with accountability, and fear with courage. Marcus stood on the Aurora's observation deck, looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, countless species watched, listened, and learned. Humanity's journey had transformed them all. He whispered softly, "We came for justice. We came for truth. But we leave something greater behind, hope." The galaxy had been tested, and humanity had passed not through conquest, but through unity, courage, and honor. The legacy of President Elena Ward lived on, not just in humans, but in every species that had witnessed their strength. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter as the fleets of Earth returned to their sectors. Disciplined, victorious, and ready for the future, humanity had arrived. And this time, the galaxy would never forget them,